So, good morning, everyone. We'll be discussing today on the updated management of pregnancy and abortion care during the COVID 19 pandemic for the healthcare professionals. Now, we know the background and the timeline. SARS-CoV-2 reported on December 31st from China, and the first case in Odisha on 16th of March. Lockdown is continuing, and currently today in Odisha, we have 611 cases. Now, in the short period of time, it's a new disease. A lot of information has come in, and therefore, the management guidelines have also been updated. And what I'll be speaking to you is taken from these guidelines, the FOGSI GCPR guidelines, which is version 2 from on 28th of April, it was received. Then the ministry guidelines, the ICMR guidelines, and this came yesterday from the RCOG. This is the version 9 of coronavirus COVID-19 infection in pregnancy. So these are the guidelines that I will be speaking about today. So the first thing as a healthcare professional, what we should be doing is to spread awareness amongst our patients. All pregnant women who come to us, what measures can be taken by them to prevent COVID-19 infection has to be told. They have to be asked to do the 5, which is maintain physical distance of at least 1 meter, stay at home, observe hand hygiene, observe respiratory hygiene, and avoid touching the face. They should be, if they are working, they should be encouraged to work from home. Use masks at all times in public spaces, avoid non-essential travel, and if all traveling, they should prefer to use a private vehicle to have a good sleep, a well-balanced diet, avoid anxiety, avoid anything which gives them negativity, avoid gatherings and functions to celebrate the 7th month menstrual, which is very common, and post-delivery, they should minimize the number of visitors who come to see the mother and the baby. So in this way, a pregnant woman can reduce her chances of contracting the disease. Now, these are recommendations. These recommendations from our ministry came this month itself on the 1st, and they tell the type of personal protective equipment which should be used by the healthcare professional for us gynecologists. In the OPD, it is the latest triple layer mask along with the latex gloves, which all of us should be using to see the non-COVID patients. During rounds, either in the IPD, either the general or the private wards, again, it's a triple layer mask along with the latest gloves. Labor room, there's a face shield added and an N95 mask if patient is coming from a containment zone. OT and ICU protocols are different, as in when we go, we may add a goggles or an N95 mask. But in the OPD and in the IPD, we should be using triple layer mask along with the latex gloves. Now, which are the women whom we should be testing? So all pregnant women do not require testing for COVID-19. Unlike a lot of other investigations which are done routinely, COVID-19 testing is not a routine now. ICMR says that symptomatic women should be tested with RT-PCR. Asymptomatic are tested between day 5 to 14. But this is something which came up new last month, was that all pregnant women residing in clusters or containment area or in large migration gatherings or evacuee centers from hotspots. So this is what the ICMR said, dated 24/2020. In New York, they've done a study wherein they found that 15% of the COVID-19 positive pregnant women were asymptomatic. But currently, we just do screening only. We do testing. We do not test everyone as of now. Now, what about the clinical presentation of COVID-19 in pregnancy? The symptoms are mostly mild flu-like symptoms of cough, sore throat, fever, fatigue, chills, anosmia has been reported. It's less than around 5% who may be presenting with severe acute respiratory illness with difficulty in breathing and shortness of breath. And pregnant women with associated medical conditions, they may present with pneumonia and hypoxia. That is why an SpO2 is done for all. And elderly pregnant women may have a typical presentation like malaise, body ache, nausea, and diarrhea. The confirmation test with the RT-PCR, majority will have a mild disease. This is important for all to know. Critical disease requiring ICU admission is less than 5%. And usually it's been reported in the 3rd trimester, and maternal disease may be aggravated if patient has comorbidities of diabetes, hypertension, asthma, APLA, like in the non-pregnant population. What about the maternal outcomes in the COVID-19 in pregnancy? Till recently, till last month, there were no maternal deaths reported, but now evidence is emerging that maternal deaths have been happening because of COVID-19 from Iran, India, and UK. There is evidence. And the case fatality rate, this was from yesterday's RCOG guideline update version 9. 1.2% of all the admitted cases, ratio of 5 MMR ratio of 5.6 per 100,000 maternity. So yes, women are being affected. What about the perinatal effects? The teratogenicity has not been documented. The effect of the third trimester is known better than the first and the second trimester. Most cases are reported in the third trimester, including the recent systematic review. But this is what the Chinese study said, that increased amount of fibrin deposition and one case of placental infarction from the placenta of mothers with COVID-19 in the first and second trimester, which is why probably we need to have a close surveillance of fetuses in the first or second trimester with COVID-19, because the hypothesis is any detrimental thrombotic effects of COVID-19 on the placenta and its effect in the first and second trimester. Vertical transmission has not been convincingly demonstrated till now. Recently, 3 babies were reported to have SARS-CoV-2 IgM in the serum, and probably these are thought to be in utero infection. There's no detectable viral DNA in the amniotic fluid, serum, placenta, vaginal fluid, but SARS-CoV-2 has been detected in stools and in urine. What about the safety of vaginal birth in pregnancy with COVID-19? So this study in the VGOG on May 5th, it's come out. They've studied 30 COVID-19 infected women in the first trimester 5, second trimester 3, third trimester 5, and all the 5 in the third trimester had live birth, but adverse perinatal outcomes have been reported in the form of premature delivery and neonatal pneumonia. 1 out of the 3 samples of breast milk tested positive. All 13 vaginal secretion samples were negative, which probably the authors said that vaginal delivery may hence be considered safe. How do you assess a woman with COVID-19 positive pregnant woman? The first step would be to assess her systemic status. If she is asymptomatic, she goes in for a quarantine. If symptomatic, she needs a hospitalization. Now, once hospitalization, we need to know whether it will be in the routine areas of the hospital which are designated for COVID-19 positive patients or in the ICU. So how do you recognize somebody who's critically ill requiring ICU admission? Please understand that only a minority, less than 5% of these women, of all the women with COVID-19 in pregnancy would be requiring. So tachypnea, a respiratory rate more than 30, hypoxia, SpO2 less than 93%, and if imaging shows a lung involvement of more than 50%. So these are the women which require ICU admission because they may be less symptomatic compared to the degree of abnormalities that is actually present. There's no rationale to induce labor or deliver a woman early because of COVID-19 infection. The labor and delivery happens in a separate area, and newborn care is also practiced in the same area but separately. The medical management in pregnancy, hydroxychloroquine 200 milligram thrice a day with meals along with azithromycin 500 once a day for 10 days has been prescribed. But over and above this, we need to give the supportive care, paracetamol as the NSAID. Antenatal steroids are safe 24 to 34 weeks of gestation, antibiotics as indicated, supplemental oxygen 4 to 6 liters per minute, and intrapartum care. Important things about intrapartum care. We'll come to it. We'll see the maternal surveillance first. So after admission, see the temperature, heart rate, blood pressure, respiratory rate 3 to 4 times per day. Chest imaging. Now, traditionally HRCT, but in pregnancy, ultrasound has been found to be, ultrasound of the chest has been found to be extremely useful. And along with the obstetric scan, the chest ultrasound can be done and it can show the involvement. Fetal heart rate monitoring at least once per day. If not steroid covered, then steroid coverage has to be done between 24 to 34 weeks of gestation. Only if there is severe failure criteria, then cesarean section needs to be done, like in septic shock, multi-organ failure, or in fetal distress. Now, intrapartum care during labor, IV antibiotics as required, continuous CTG monitoring because there are reports coming in of fetal distress in COVID-19 in pregnancy. Labor analgesia and anesthesia can be used safely. Aim is to maintain an SpO2 of more than 94%, vaginal delivery and early cord clamping is practiced. What about breastfeeding? These women with COVID-19 disease, if asymptomatic, they can continue with breastfeeding with certain precautions like practicing respiratory hygiene, wearing a mask, washing hands before and after touching the baby, and maintaining clean surfaces. However, if the woman is in ICU, which is less than 5% of all the pregnant women with COVID-19, or she is actively symptomatic, then separation needs to be followed, or isolation. Now, the guidelines for discharge of the COVID-19 positive uh, patients has been revised, wherein there is no RT-PCR testing before discharge, but for pregnancy, confirmed cases, it is a multidisciplinary team approach with at least resolution of symptoms and radiological improvement that needs to be there. Postnatal care should follow routine practice. Again, it is at the discretion whether it has to be an earlier follow-up also will be decided by the treating obstetric. Now, this was about the COVID pregnant women. What about the routine care of the non-COVID pregnant women? That also has certain modifications. So personal visit, definitely the 2 personal visits at 12 weeks and 20 weeks for an NT scan, anomaly scan, and dual and quadruple marker is required. And after that, the routine growth scans at 28 weeks, 30 weeks are minimized. If it's not really necessary, it should not be done. 39 weeks in low risk pregnancy, women should be encouraged to visit to planned delivery. This is important. Telemedicine has been legalized, and investigations, reports, doubts they can ask by telemedicine. Women should be asked to do the daily fetal movement count from the 32 weeks, home BP monitoring weekly from 32 weeks, and then report if the blood pressures are elevated. When in doubt, they should always consult by telemedicine. And you should always ask them the travel history, contact history during each visit. Now, emergency care for women who are not coming to the OPD, but who present in emergency, always wear a mask, and undertaking needs to be signed wherein they may get infected or they may infect others. They may need to undergo COVID-19 testing. That undertaking they have to sign. Admission if required. Currently, earlier we used to allow at least one attendant during labor, but now we are not allowing during this pandemic, during labor. If at all they are attending, they should be with the woman and not come and leave. Abortion care is an essential care. Just the presence of COVID-19 is not an indication for MTP. And if at all MTP is done, preferably women should be encouraged to report earlier than 12 weeks. Patients to visit the hospital for ultrasound and prescription of medicines, and follow-up can be done with the telemedicine consultation. So we come for the take-home messages, what we know till now, and what are the updated management guidelines till mid of May. So to contain the spread, women should be educated on doing the 5 to prevent themselves getting infected, using telemedicine facility for their doubts, for showing the investigation reports. Non-COVID pregnant women, 12-week, 20-week for ultrasound plus markers, growth scans, the routine growth scans, 28-week, 36 weeks is restricted unless really indicated. Deliveries as per protocol, abortion care is as per. Continue vertical transmission. There's only some evidence obstetric management is also as per routine. So that's about it. That's all we wanted to say. It's on us actually to win the fight against Corona-19. Thank you and keep well.